Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Rabbi Sai, it's interesting because we learned the machlokes between Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda is the Gid Nosha on one side of the animal or two sides. So yesterday we brought down the Mishnah in Pesachim that counts the different things that you have to burn on the 16th day of Nisan. Noisar, leftover meat that from a carbon that you're only allowed to eat a certain amount of time. The leftover of the carbon Pesach, you're only allowed to eat a certain amount of time. So on the 16th you burn whatever's left over. And then it says Gid. Gid Anasha. Now, is the Gid something edible or not edible? So that was the discussion. Why does it have to bring Gid as a separate entity? Rav Ashi Omar, and that's all the way on the top. We're talking about the fat of the Gid. The fat of the Gid, maybe you can see it in the picture before. There's different fats over there. It's maybe behind it, like right over there. You see that bubble right there, above the string. So there's fat, and the Sanya Shamni Mutter, you're allowed to eat it. Oh, so once you're allowed to eat it, it becomes food. Once it becomes food and you don't eat it, you have to burn it. But Klal Yisrael doesn't eat it. Do machmer. Shamni Mutter. So that's a chiddush. The reason why it's left over is because we made a chumrah on ourselves, but it's still food. It's still considered part of the carbon. It has to be burnt. So it's in a category of itself, and that's why it's brought down by itself. Yisrael G'doshim Nagu Bo Yisr. Gedusha is to separate yourself, to withstain, what's the word I'm looking for? No, not sustain. Oh, he knows it. Abstain. Okay, abstain. Thank you. Abstain from things that are mutter. That's Kedusha. And so Kedusha, Nagabayis. Ravina Amar, something similar. Again, what's the question? Why does it say in the Mishnah Gid and regular meat? There are two. Oh, here we go. We have two of them. Let me show you over here. No tissues here. It's not the base of fish. Okay. It's just tears coming through. Say there. So you have the Gida Pnimi and the Gida Chitzoni. So Pnimi really, Rashi says the Pnimi means if you're looking at the two thighs, they're inside, they're facing each other. And Chitzon, so Chitzon, as you see over here, is the outer one. The machlokes is exactly where it is. The Ashkenazim say one way, Teimanim say another way. A kol panim, the Chitzon is only with the Rabbanan. There's two gidim. There's two sinews. Pnimi samoch latzim asur. The inner one is the one that's asur midori raisa v'chayav v'malav, and you get malchus if you eat it. Chitzon samoch labasur asur v'chayav v'malav. The outer one that's next to the meat is asur, only with the Rabbanan. V'chayav v'malav, you don't get malchus. Oh, so memela, if you don't eat it because the Rabbanan said don't eat it, so you don't eat it. So now it's required to burn it because midiraisa you're allowed to eat it. Midiraisa it is food, so maybe you have to burn it. So it's a category in itself. Toshma ochal mizeh kezayis mizeh kezayis. So now the question is, did Rabbi Yehuda prove min Torah that the one gid that you're not allowed to eat is the right side, or it was more of a suffix? So it says the Gemara Toshma ochal mizeh kezayis mizeh kezayis. There are two times that he ate a kazayis with two different edim, two different animals. So you get 80 malchus. It's two separate malchus. Ocham Ezekizais, Soifeg es Harabayim. So says the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Eino Soifeg el Harabayim. You don't get 80, you get 40. Iyamris Mivshap Shitale. If Rabbi Yehuda already figured out that it's only the right side, Shapir, everything works out great. Eli Yamris Sapukim Sapkile, Havil Asra Safek, Vishamin the Rabbi Yehuda, Damasra Safek, Lishma Asra. If Rabbi Yehuda wasn't certain which side, how could you give him Malchus at all? By how do you give Malchus? You have to warn him, but you can't warn him because you don't know what side is Asr. You can't warn him on the right side because maybe the right side is Mutter. You can't warn him on the left side because maybe the left side is Mutter. So that would be Asra Safek, and Rabbi Yehuda holds on Asra Safek when you have a doubt on the warning, you don't give the guy Malchus. So you shouldn't give him 40. The Sanyo, so this is the sugi that we had. The Sanyo, Hika Ezeh v'chazar v'hika ez zeh. So remember that Maisa here, let me show you the video and you'll remember everything. If a person has a doubt who his father is, why? Because his mother got married within 3 months of a divorce.
This doesn't look like me.
This doesn't look like me.
I'm gonna beat my fathers.
Don't do it. You will be punished.
I don't care. I'm going to beat them again.
You will be punished.
I want my mama.
I want mommy. I want mommy. I want mommy.
So says the Gemara, the Sanyo Hikazeh b'chazar hikazeh. He hit one father and then he hit the other Suffolk father. Kilazeh. Again, he doesn't know which one is his father. The one on the right, the one on the left. He cursed the one on the right, then he cursed the one on the left. Or he hit them both in one shot. Or he cursed both of them in one curse. Chayiv, then he's chayiv. The only time you're chayiv if it happened in the one shot case. But the first case where he hit one, then he hit the other. Potter. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say Potter? It's Asra Safek, because the Adam cannot warn him on either one of the fathers. They're not sure which one it is. Therefore, it's Asra Safek. It's a warning that comes with doubt. Potter. So you see, the Rabbi Yehuda holds Asra Safek Potter. Says the Gemara, there's a machlokes what Rabbi Yehuda holds. He holds like the other one that says Dam Asra Safek Shma Asra. In fact, I can prove to you that there's another Tana that holds in Rabbi Yehuda that a doubt is a good Asra. Where do I see this? Because it says the Sanyuli says you're not allowed to leave over any meat till the morning, and if you do, what happens? It says that you should burn it. It's like a lavanite, like say it comes. There's a tikkun. If you leave the meat over, what do? You burn it. You don't get. You don't get the malchus. Divri Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, but without this, Rabbi Yehuda would hold that you do get malchus. But how can you get malchus? This is considered a hasra safek. Why? Because when are they warning him? We went through this. If they warn him, the hasra always has to be like toich kidei dibur, within a few moments of when the person does the avera. So if they warn him at 9 o'clock at night, he can say, "Listen, I am not doing it now." You only get the avera when it turns daytime. So if you warn him at 9 o'clock at night, it's not good. 10 o'clock, not good. 11, no good. So a moment before the sun comes out, that's too late. 2 moments before, too early. The kitzur, every time that they warn, it's going to be a hasra of suffix, not a good hasra. Yet, Reb Yehuda holds that it would work. Why? Because hasra suffix, shema hasra, you could get malchus in that. The only reason why you don't get malchus in this case of Noisar is because we have a special pasuk. But without the pasuk, you say he does get it, even though it's hasra suffix. Reb Yaakov argues, Loimin Hashem uzeh, that's not the reason, Elam Mishum Dahave, Lav Shem Boi Maisa, V'chalav Shem Boi Maisa, Ein Loikim Malav. Okay? Because, what's Noisar? Noisar means, I did not finish my steak. For not finishing a steak, you don't get malchus. For eating a steak that's treif, you get malchus. But not eating something that's not doing your action, not taking action, for that you don't get malchus. Malchus you only get for something that involved in action, not a lack of action. Tashma. So over here, this is the story of, I guess before maybe it wasn't. Now I'm going to get a voice note from Moshe from Lakewood. He ate 2 separate gidim from 2 separate thighs of 2 separate animals. You get 80. You only get 40. Obviously, he ate the one that's osur from each animal. Only according to Reb Yehuda do you need 2 animals, because according to Chachamim, if you eat 2 gidim from the same animal, you'll also be chayiv 2. One from the first one, you get a hasra on that one. You get a hasra on the second one, you get 2 malchus. But for Itzrich, for Reb Yehuda, you need 2 separate animals, because according to Reb Yehuda, you only chayiv on one side of the animal. And we decided it's the right side. So it says the Gemara, Shema Mino, Mifshah Pshitolei. Obviously decided it's the right side, because otherwise he wouldn't give him any malchus, Reb Yehuda. Why would Reb Yehuda give malchus if I don't know what side? He only ate 2 lefts. Or if he ate 2 rights, maybe that's not the one that's also. The fact that he says that you get malchus, you get a 40, is a raya that he already determined which side it is. It's the right side, and that's why I'm giving him malchus 40. So we have to understand, how come only 40? Why doesn't he get 80? Shema Mino. So it's a good raya that Rabbi Yehuda decided it's not a suffix, it's a vaday, and he learned it from the Torah. Asking Why does he only get 40? He should get 80. Look, Shmoinim. Says Gemara, you're right. The less big kazayis. Each gid had less than a kazayis. The sayah choleh b'em kazayis chayev. If you eat a full gid, then it's a beria. It's a bria. And on a bria, let's say you eat an ant that's less than a kazayis, you chayev. Why? Because it's a full creature. So too, the gid anosh is a full creature. You get malchus on eating the full gid anosh. Reb Yehuda says, no, you don't get malchus on eating a full gid anosha if it's less than a kazayis. So therefore, you have to take a half a kazayis, let's say, from animal 1, and a half a kazayis from animal 2, and together you have a full kazayis, and that's why you get 40. If each animal had a full kazayis, if each animal, he ate the right gid, the full kazayis, according to the Rebbe, you chayiv 80 malchus. But over here we're talking about a combination. But according to Chachamim, you'd get 80 malchus even though each one is less than a kazayis. Why? Because it's the full birya. Says the Gemara, we're almost by that guy there, Rabbi say. V'taimamai. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say it's the right gid, not the left? Zog the Gemara. Omar Rav Omakro, Hayorech, with the Hey idea. Hamiyumenesh beyorech, the righter one of the thigh. I have to tell you that it's the gid that is also from top to bottom, meaning the gid ha pnimi, not the chitzoy. Lafuke chitzoy deloy. Here's a human gid hanosha, and this is the problem. This is what happened to Yaakov Avinu. The malach pulled out his gid. Painful stuff. According to Reb Shub and Levi, which we're learning right now, they were struggling. They were wrestling each other. When you wrestle, you grab the other person around, and the Malach's right hand reached across and grabbed Yaakov Avinu's right thigh, not left, right. He went all the way around, as you see in this picture. Like a person hugging his friend, and his hand comes all the way around and grabs the right spoon, the right thigh. The Malach came to him as if he was a goy. The Omar Mar Yisrael shenitmaloi goy baderech. If a goy comes to you on the way, you got to be careful, because the goy has a weapon, and you want to, with your dominant hand, the right hand, you want to be able to protect yourself. What do? You make sure that the goy goes to your right side. Take a look. Here's the guy on the right. He pulls out a sword. And the Malach was on his right side, because Yaakov Avinu is makpid on this Gemara, that the guy should be on his right. And when he attacked him, he attacked his right thigh. Rav Shmuel bar Achal kamei derapopim shvei derava bar Ula Omar ketamud chacham nidmiloi. The Malach came as if he was a Talmud Chacham. And the Talmud Chacham you also put on the right side. Rav Shmuel bar Achal says ketamud chacham nidmiloi. Shmuel Achmei says, no, like a goy. But it's all the same person, it's all the same Malach. So here's like a Talmud Chacham. You put him on your right side. The Talmud Chacham is on the right. And finally we have a pshat. The Omar Mar HaMa'alach Limin Rabbi Harizabur. If you're to the right of your Rebbe, you are an Amoritz. Let the Rebbe be on the right. V'Rabbanon, the final pshat is Machorei. Also, he came, he snuck up. The Malach came from behind. V'Nashye b'Tarvayu. In fact, he got him on both, and that's why we're not allowed to eat both sides of the Gid HaNasha. Gewaldig. Beautiful stuff. V'Rabbanon, 12 lines from the bottom. V'Rabbanon hai be'avkoi imoi, my darshibei. He's learning the first pshat. Be'avkoi imoi, like Yeshua ben Levi, that they were struggling, they were wrestling, but the Rabbanon say they weren't wrestling, came from behind. My darshibei. Miboilei l'kedid Yeshua ben Levi. I'm going to go with Reb Shua ben Levi, a different one. Reb Shua ben Levi, Melamed Sheheloi Avak Margeloisam at Kisei HaKavod. V'Yavko is not a lashon of struggle, of wrestling. V'Yavko is a lashon of avak, of dust. That the dust went all the way up to the Kisei HaKavod. Ksiv Hacha B'Yavko Imoy, Ksiv Hasam V'Anan Avak Raglov. There's a cloud of dust from his feet. V'Amar Reb Shua ben Levi, a third Reb Shua ben Levi. Lama Nikra Shmoy Gid HaNasha. Why is it called Gid HaNoshe? It's a Gid. Why HaNoshe? Shenoshe Mekayma of Allah. It came out of its place and went up. They became weak. Their might became weak and became like women. What happened physically to Yaakov Avinu? That's the Gid HaNoshe. V'nofa b'Yisrael is referring to Klal Yisrael, not to Yaakov Avinu. Shepashat Yisur b'chol Yisrael, that Klal Yisrael accepted the Isser of Gid HaNoshe. Yosef Tzadik said a double lashon. Utavoyach tevach. You should make a meal for. You should slaughter. You shall slaughter and prepare for my brothers a meal. Paralem beis hashchita. He opened up the neck of the animal and said, look, we shechted. In those days, they were all goyim. Yosef Tzadik was also a goy. Right? It was before Matan Torah. So, but he was makbid on shechita, and he wanted to show, hey, look, he opened it up. It's shechted. Mamish like halal today. They cut. It doesn't matter what knife, or they'll cut. I'm not saying that's what they did. It could be they were makbid on all things. But in halal, they don't. They just show that it's open and good. It could be a Jew that checks it. They're also is good for them. V'achin. What does v'achin mean? What are you preparing? You're preparing that you remove the Yisrael Tzaddik, remove the Gid HaNasha for his brothers. There was an Isra already back then for Bnei Noach. The famous Rashi, he quotes this Gemara that we saw in the video, that what happened? Yaakov Avinu brought his family over the river. He came back to get his Pachim K'tanim, the small vessel. Some say it had Shem Zayis, Bisamigdash, whatever. Mikan Tzadikim Shechovev Aleim Amoinim Yosim Megufam. He went back because he, as the Gemara says, they're very careful with Gezel, and Memela, it's worth more, the monetary value, more than their own body. What does that mean? So the Ben Yoda right away says over here, more than tsar of the body. Not more than their body, but more than tsar, more than pain. And he brings the Gemara, the famous Gemara of Abba Chilkiah, would rather get scraped by the thorns than to have his clothing ripped. That's tsar, that's pain more than that. Why? Shem poishtim yidem begezel. They're so careful, and everything comes very hard for them. And they're very careful with money that they rather have tsar than to lose that thing, whatever the pshat is. It only occurred until morning. Once Alisa Shachar came, then the Mav said, okay, I gotta run. I'll see you later. This is the source, and we're going to have a bunch of different sources. This is the source of the Gemara, that a Talmid Chacham should not go out by himself at night, because Yaakov Avinu went by himself at night. That's when the mazik has permission to do damage. During the day, he doesn't. Daf Tzadik Aleph Amud Beis. We're talking about Boyaz. And Naomi tells Ruth, go there. I'm telling you, he's not going to go home. He can't go home at night. Why can't he go home at night? Because of this, that Talmid Chacham, says Rashi, it's a gnai, it's an embarrassment for Talmid Chacham to walk home at night by himself. She's going to sleep over there at the threshing field, whatever it's called. So Mela, she tells him, go find him over there. That Avram got up in the morning. Why not at night? Because he can't go out at night. You should see so many different sources that a Talmid Chacham should not go out by himself at night. The sun came out for him. Omar Reb Akiva. Says Reb Akiva, my favorite Tana. Sha'alti is Reb Gamliel ves Reb Yeshua be'itla shel imoum. We were there in the butcher shop in Imom. They went to purchase an animal. They had to purchase the whole thing. We're doing a chazarah for the son of Reb Gamliel. I want to stop here for a second. Why is it important that they went to Imom and they were in a butcher shop? Who cares? Rebbe Kiva should say. We asked the question. Why does it say this? Well, only for him, the son. Why is it important that they were in a butcher shop? So there's a Taisis in B'chayros. That no matter what, you're on the day of your son's chasana, you're shechting an animal, you're in a butcher shop. You have all the reasons and all the excuses not to learn Torah. So the Gemara says, no, the Gemara describes where they were. They were in a butcher shop. They were in a imum. It's the day of the wedding. But here's the question. I have question A, question B, and today we have another question to say that the Daf Torah never stops. Even on difficult days, difficult situations, we learn Torah all the time. Ksiv Vayizrach Le'Hashemesh says that the sun rose for him. As the Gemara, what it only rose for him. The sun rises for everybody. No. Shemesh haba bavuroi, the sun that went down. Haba means that it went down. Where? In Beis El. Bavuroi, in the Makam HaMikdash. Bavur is Zorcha Bavur. That same sun that went down early came up early for him. Vayitzi Yaakov meber Sheva v'yel chorono. Chsiv, vayivga b'mokoim. Ki motu l'chor nomar, efsha avarti al mokom shespal avoyse v'anila ispalalti. The little bit of a problem in the Pesukim, how does it work? He went to Choron. What exactly happened? He was already in Choron, he was already out of there, and then he was in Beis El. It doesn't add up. Choron is outside of Eretz Yisrael, Beis El in. So the Gemara, when he got to Choron, he realized, came the famous Gemara. I was in a place that my forefathers davened here. My father, my grandfather. And I didn't daven here. Oh, I just chapped. I never paid attention to this. I just paid attention now. In your schos. It only happened because he just made a decision. Kayoiv daite lemehedar. Because Baruch Hu doesn't help you out if you don't want it, if you don't take action. You have to make a move. Once he made the decision, I'm going back, then kafta liyaro. Then he had kvitzas haderech. So in kindergarten, I was told that kvitzas haderech is, he had like a magic carpet and he was flying over. Rashi says no. Rashi says kvitzas haderech means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the ground and made it smaller. He shrunk the distance. That's kvitzas haderech. Kofta liyara. Miyad, and immediately Vayivgam HaMokom, he got back there. Katzali boy lemehedar. And when he davened there, he finished davening. Okay, now I want to go home. I want to go back to Chara. He's going to come to my hotel, and he's going to be potter without resting. Miyad ba hashemesh. It's another source that a tzaddik should not go outside when it's dark. The famous story, Yaakov Avinu took the stones. Then he took one stone, 12 stones for the Shvatim. Then it's one stone. What happened there? You see from here that they really had a bunch of stones around him, and then they became one. Why? Every one of the stones had a fight. They said, "No, I want to be the stone." Even an inanimate object like a stone, fighting that Yaakov Avinu should place his head on them. But listen to this: the famous Ma'isa. Every school kid knows the story that the stones were fighting, and each one said, "Ola yoniach tzadik ze roishoy." And then the Gemara finishes off, "Tana v'chulan nivlu ba'achas," and they all became one. Zog the Gemara weiter, v'yachtem v'nisulam mutzu v'artzo. He dreamt, and here's the ladder stationary in the ground. Tana kamen rochim shel sulam. What's the width? Shmoinas alofim parsois. An enormous width. U'dichsiv v'ini malach elikim oilim v'yardim boy. The malachim were going up and down. Oilim shnayim. Oilim means two were going up. V'yardim shnayim. So the malachim are going down. We have to finish up. It says that by the malach his body is his form is like the ocean of Tarshish. Tarshish is 2,000 parsois. They go up and they look at Yaakov Avinu, his face on the Kisei HaKavod. And they come down and they look at him down here. They were jealous of him. Miyad v'hine Hashem nitzav olav. And Hashem came above him. If it wasn't mefurish in the pasuk, you're not allowed to say something like this. That what? What's the pshat in the pasuk? Like a person that's like waving off the enemy. My Rebu say, what does it mean, this land that you're laying on? What does it come to tell us and add? He folded up the whole Eretz Yisrael like this, put it in his hair. Look, all this. Because Hakadosh Baruch Hu did that move, from then on it became easier for Klal Yisrael to conquer Eretz Yisrael. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.